going on, everybody? Got another video here for you, another repair video. We're going to be taking an engine out of a 2012 Volkswagen CC, this one right here. We'll be taking this guy out and replacing it with this engine, which has about 50,000 miles on it. This one, they forgot to keep oil in it, and the chain failed and bent all the valves, causing a no start condition, and that's what we're going to be fixing. So the first step that I'm going to do, I've already done actually, is you take off this bottom cover down here, this little plastic cover. It's right here, it's not there anymore. T25's holding that on there, and then come around, take your wheels off, and then we're going to start taking off this front bumper. There's a couple of ways of doing this. I personally would rather take the engine and transmission out together in one piece. Makes things a lot easier. Some people try to keep the engine in, the transmission in, and then pull the engine out, but there's a very little space to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking this front clip off, this whole thing, and then I'm going to pull the engine and transmission together right out with it. So that's what I'm going to be showing you next. So let's start zipping off this front bumper. So in order to do that, we have some T25s right here, another one down here, one or two down there. Come over here, do the same thing. There's one piece here, here. And this is broken, so I'll take that off. And then same thing over here and down there. So I'm going to do that and then show you what it looks like. Bolts holding on the bumper. Pop that side off. This side off. Sometimes it's stuck on here pretty good. Boom. This out. Now there's going to be some wiring harnesses that you're going to have to disconnect when you pull this. So what I do is I just kind of pull it away a little bit and start disconnecting the harness, so I don't pluck any wires out of the pins, and the connection is right here. So it's these two right here. Boom. So that pretty much connects your whole front bumper to the electrical harness. So once you take that off, you can pretty much just take it off pretty easily. So let's go ahead and do that now. Little clips under here that I'm trying to get to. I'll show you. There's usually bolts here, but the people that took this apart before apparently did put these bolts back in, so easier for me. So you see this little tab right here? Push up on that. Pull it out. So I'm going to do that and get it off. See all this stuff right here? Boom. Whole thing's disconnected. So now we'll just set this off to the side and we'll start taking out the rest of the bolts. Stick this right here. Now, you can clearly see what we have here to take off now. So you have to take off the headlight, which is T30 here, T30 there, and, well, that one's missing. There's supposed to be another one back there. Like, right back there. It's missing, so don't have to worry about that. You get to that bolt from right here. That's the other bolt. It's hiding right here. If I can get my light on it. There we go. Right there. That's the other bolt. Gotta go right through this little hole to get to it. Then I've got to remove the headlights. And after you take the headlights off, take these 16mm T30, T30 there, T30 here, T30. Same thing on the other side. And that'll take off your front bumper reinforcement, so we can have better access to the front clip and start taking that apart. So let's do that. These two bolts. This one out. That. I'm just gonna take out these. Wow, this thing is being ridiculous right now. Snap-on tools for you. Boom. Look at that. Better than the snap-on, the Harbor Freight drill. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Well, unbelievable. Too much money for that shit. Start taking out these. One of these in here, like slightly loose, just to make it a little easier so it don't fall down on top of it while I'm trying to do this. So there goes those. Put that up here. Here is one more bolt. Flipped over. There's one right underneath the headlight. So I'm going to go ahead and take the headlight out. Sorry for the camera things, guys. I usually use a GoPro, but people complain about removing it. So, back to the camera. Three cheap dirty bolts. Boom.
Headlights off.
Take this other one off. T20. Boom. There's the other headlight. Take off that hidden bolt here. Right here. And that's the last one that holds this bumper reinforcement on. So there goes the bumper reinforcement. Now I can see everything pretty clearly. The next thing you want to do before you get too much further into this is go ahead and take out some of your refrigerant and your AC. So the way I do it, I just take a, this is not the proper way you're supposed to do it, obviously. You should have a recovery machine. I don't have one at the moment with me doing this job here, so I'm at my house. So what we're going to do, I'm going to take this on here. I usually do it on the low side because for some reason when you do it on the high side it seems to lose a lot more oil. So just do it on the low side. And then you'll just clip this on here. That. Alright, so we got this on here, like that. And then all we're going to do is just open this up. Doesn't have a lot of pressure in there anyway, but just bleed it right out of this piece. So once that's nice and empty, we can start taking the rest of this off. Because these condenser lines go right through here, so you're going to have to take these off and discharge the AC system, or else you're gonna have a mess on your face. Wow, this is all broken. Oh, nice. Oh, that's broken too. Wonderful. Seems to be a common problem with these things. Of course, support's always broken because the idiots who made this car made it plastic. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. So, all right, let's start taking this front clip off. And the condenser and all that good stuff. Okay. Okay, that is a T14. Or is it a 45? I guess 45. That's 45. T45. These connections up here. Yeah, let's get over here. forceful, but gentle at the same time. Push these out of the way. And right back through here. Now that that's out of the way, start looking at the rest of this stuff. I'm going to take off this little piece here before you take off the core support. It's really important. Just pushes off. And then this thing you just kind of twist up out, pops right off. Just plastics everywhere. Okay. And then we're going to have to start disconnecting the radiator hoses. Disconnect the fan, take all these little sensors off as well. That got an airbag sensor down here too. Should be one on both sides. Yep, there's one there. So you gotta take this off. That little sensor, plug, whatever. Take the plug off from here too. Okay. So we're gonna get something for that. Trying to get you in a good spot here. Not so easy. So just push the clip down and just push it right off. Same to the other side. So that's off. And then for these, we're just gonna take a pick or something, like a flat screwdriver or something like that. Let's see if I can get here. Yeah. And then you're just gonna pull it up just like that. And then take one to one side and pry it off. Take the whole thing off. Trying to fight with that is pointless, so just take the whole thing off. So then we'll pop that thing off of there. Also, there's the plug to the radiator fans and also the charged air cooler. So we're going to take that clip off right here. Just pull it out. Just like that. And that should wobble right out of there. Like so. Then you got this one right here. That's the radiator fan plug. It's got a little red tab on it. Pull that back. And then disconnect the plug. Easier said than done of where it's at. It's in a little holder, so you can take it out of the holder, like I'm doing now. Like that. So now it's loose. You can get to it a little easier. Let me set this over here for a second. Fight with this plug. So we'll come back and I'll show you the next steps. Now for this, I'm going to show you a little trick because a lot of people tend to break these. So I'm going to show you how to get it off without breaking it, because these things do not like to come off easily. So first thing I do, spray it with something lubricating, WD-40, silicone spray, something. Blaster doesn't really matter as long as you get something on there to lubricate it. And then once you get something on there to lubricate it, let it seep in there for a second. And then I take our pry bar and I push on the top of it while applying force on the bottom of it. You want to keep it even, because if you have it cockeyed, it's going to break. So just put it here, wiggle it while you push, and boom, that easy. I couldn't tell you how many people I've seen break this shit. Just for, you know, being too rough or not paying attention, whatever. And there's also a nipple on here on the top, which is really, really easy to break. So, yeah, try to be mindful of that, because that's like a $30 piece, $30 or $40 piece to replace. And I have broken some as well, so take it from my experience. Be careful with that damn thing, or else you're gonna be buying a piece that you wasn't planning on buying. Okay, so we got the upper radiator hose off, and we got the one charge air cooler off on that side. Now I need to get charge air cooler loose on this side, which the clip is on the other side. So we'll take the charge air cooler loose from over here. As you can see, this hose right here, that's the charge air cooler hose. And there's a clip over here, right there. Alright, take that off. Just wiggle it out. Boom. Don't lose your clip. Very important. So now I got the charge air cooler loose. The sensors are all unplugged. Now we just got to get the lower radiator hose, which is a little bit of a booger to get to because of where it's at. But other than that, we'll be able to yank this thing off of here. So when I come back, I'll show you that. Alright, we're back. Got the lower hose off. Wasn't too bad. Now we just got 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts left, and this thing will come right off. So let's take those off and set it off to the side. You don't necessarily have to worry about this thing falling off because it's kind of sitting on the frame. So take these out. Okay. Completely loose, it sits there still. Now, since this thing is broken in many places, be very careful on how we grab this thing. Oh, wait a second. I forgot one thing. And that is the hood latch cable. Jesus, the damn thing fell over. My bad. Alright. Sorry about the spazziness of the video. Usually use a GoPro, like I said. But anyway, so here's the hood latch. This is very easy to undo. All you need to do is just see these little clips right here. You just kind of pop it off of there. Let's do that real quick. Alright, so you can see. So just pop it right here. Right there. And that slides up like that. And just take that out. Boom. That's it. Now, finish doing what I was trying to do in the first place. Just taking this off. Right? Now, let's grab this and carefully take it off. Wait a second. I forgot about that. Damn. Fucking transfer. So for these, I'm gonna just wrench those off. Alright, so this right here is the problem I'm dealing with right now, as I have to take these transcooler lines off, which I completely forgot about. But anyway, I'm gonna take these off. I'm just gonna unscrew them from here. Be the easiest way to do it. Let's see here. I'm gonna pinch these off too with some vice grips, because I don't want to lose a bunch of transmission fluid, personally. Alright, got it off. There's the whole piece here. There's the two trans lines I had to unscrew. And right here. Just kind of pinch them off a little bit so I don't lose too much trans fluid. Alright. So now you can have perfect access to this thing, man. Look at all that space we got now. Just walk up on it. Boom. So then we're going to start disconnecting everything from the engine, like the hoses, evap lines, fuel lines, coolant hoses, any other kind of electrical connectors that we need to take off. Wow, the clip is broken on here. What a surprise. Okay. So let's start with the rest of it. So we're gonna have to disconnect this line from the compressor. I'm gonna have to take both of those off actually, because I need them. Yep. So I'll start with this one. Alright, so let's start on the rest of it. I'm gonna pull out the airbox. Pretty easy to get out. Battery here. Battery to the side. And we have some 10mm tray down. I'm just disconnecting everything right now. Trying to get all the harness pieces off of here so I can take this engine out. Where did I put my little screwdriver? There we go. Remember how all these wires are routed, because if you try to put them on a different way, you're going to have a hell of a time trying to get everything plugged back in. two plugs that go down to the back side, back here, are a little bit of flexibility to get to. Two plugs. One goes to the boost actuator, and the other one goes to. Oh, didn't look. Pulled it off. That's perfect. Oh, and FYI, a lot of people are probably wondering about the torque converter bolts. There is none on this particular car because it's a DSG transmission. There are no torque converter bolts. See? Nothing. Just the bolts holding it on to the engine. So you don't have to worry about that. That's the one easy thing about this job is you don't have to worry about torque converter bolts and lining those up and all that other silly shit that comes along with that. Don't have to worry about it. One good thing they did about when they made this car. That's about it though. Taking the ground straps off and getting everything out of the way. Keep in mind that whenever you take this ground cable off and you loosen the one side, make sure you tighten it back, because if you don't, you will have nothing working as far as like your steering. That powers a lot. That ground connection goes to a lot of different components. If you don't have it tight, you're going to have one hell of a time trying to figure out what the problem is. Make sure you tighten that back. Very important. Push that out of the way. Drink some coffee. And now, I'm going to take all this stuff out here. Another thing, I want to do this real quick because I've actually made this mistake before. If you look at these two plugs right here, this one and this one, they are exactly the same, dude. Exactly the same plug. So you can easily put this on the auxiliary water pump to the compressor, and then you have no compressor that's a compressor that's not working. And you're like, what the hell, right? And you got everything plugged in. You're like, why is it not working? It's because you got the plugs flipped around. I've actually made that mistake before, so make sure you put these back on the way they're supposed to go. especially if it's been sitting around for a while and you can't remember. Just try to make sure that you look at how the wires are routed. Very important. If you plug that in wrong, you're gonna have an unhappy customer. Or if it's your own vehicle, you're gonna be unhappy. What the hell? Wow. What a piece of crap, man. Wow. That's a first. That is a first. Good thing all that's getting replaced. Yeah, new engine's got a new auxiliary pump on it, so all good. This kind of stuff happens. Cap off here. Covers the bolt to the alternator. I don't actually have to take the starter out on this, so I'm just going to leave it where it's at until I get it out. To get it out, I'll take it off. I don't have to do it right now. Very messy job. Okay. Now I've got pretty much almost all of the electrical connections off of here. No matter how long you've been working on these things, dude, those plugs never get easy to unplug. over here. Disconnect these. These are relatively simple. The hardest one that you're going to have to deal with is the fuel line. You just have to push these up. Push these up all the way while you're pushing down. Push down, push up on these black things here. And then once you feel them go all the way up, then you can pull off. And then these are pretty simple. You just push in the little thing and pull it off. No big deal. Just get these out of the way. So this can stay with the engine, just like that. So I've got everything disconnected over here. All these plugs right here. There's plugs there. There's a plug right there to the water pump temperature sensor. And then there's the fuel pressure rail up there. High pressure fuel rail. AC compressor, auxiliary water pump, blah blah blah. There's one bracket down here we're gonna take off, which is the wishbone bracket right there. Take that off. It's like a 21, a 16, and then 21. And the next thing we're gonna have to do before we do that is take off the heater core lines. Take off the heater core lines. Disconnect the shift linkage. So I usually just take off these two 13mm right here. Or you know what? I don't even have to do that. So just literally just pop it out of here if you want. Or you can take out the 13, it doesn't matter. But you can just pop it out of there if you want. Because of how old this is, I'm probably just going to take the bracket with it so I don't break anything. So then this right here just literally pops off. You just take pry bar just like this, just like that, and that's off. And then just take the 13s right here, or 12, what are those, 12 or 13s? What should be a 12? I think it is. Yep, the 12mm. The only 12mm you will find on this car are right there. Yep. Those are the only 12mm in this whole car. It's ridiculous. Everything else is 13 or 10. It's pretty stupid. Whatever. I just work here, man. Okay, and then there's another one back here, which is easy to forget. I've forgotten it a couple times myself. It's this little line right here. You see that? That goes right to the nipple on top of this back here. And if you don't take that off, boom, broken real quick. So we're gonna take off. I'm gonna take it off from here, and then we're gonna take it off from here, and we're gonna take it off from here. So that should be good. That. Another super important tool for this job is this. Oh, if you can see it, there it goes. Gotta have one of these, man. If you don't have one of these, you need to buy one. Because what you do with this, so you don't break stuff, is you take this. So if you can get in here, you go right on the inside of the hose. Well, it's kind of hard to do this with one hand, but there we go. And then just run around, just like that. And that breaks the bead off the hose. It makes it so much easier to get off. So, if I can set my phone somewhere, jeez Louise. Well, apparently not. Anyway, I'm going to take this hose off, and that's how you do it. You just take the little pick around there and get it on the inside of the hose there. Just like that. There we go. So now I showed you that little trick. We can continue on. Whoa, that's a little bit too close. Okay, we'll do it like that. So now, take off these hoses here. Put that off to the side. Take our pick, pick. Off easy peasy. Alright, so now the heater core hoses are off. This is very important. Now let's take out the 12 millimeters to where did I put it at? Story of my life. Looking for cheese. There we go. Those things are tight, bro. Holy cow. Wow. Wow. That is ridiculous. Jeez. That wasn't difficult at all. Yeah, no. I've never had in that type of deal. That was crazy. Alright, now we'll just tuck this linkage up there to the side. To the exhaust is not going to be really easy, but nothing's ever easy. Well, that does not want to move. A stubborn hose clamp but don't want to slide around, just put some lubrication on there and it'll move great. Look at that. Alright, so now we got that little hose off, connected to the nipple to the heater core. It's also very important. Is this brake booster hose. Pop it right off of the brake booster. Really, the only things left that we have to take off are the exhaust and the axles and the mount. Three mounts. Make sure that's so let's see if we can get back here to the saw. I don't know about y'all, but I don't like slipping around while I'm working, so you'll see me wipe up constantly while I'm doing this. I do not like being messy. I do all the time. Just because I'm a mechanic don't mean I like getting dirty. Shit. That one, 4 or 3? I think there's 4. Yeah. There's 4 nuts on here. Oh boy. Alright, I'm going to show you these here, what I'm doing, because it is kind of hard to see in general back here. Okay, so if I can get my light to come on, there we go. Okay, so there's one nut right there. That one's closest to the engine. Oh shit. Ah. Oh, wait a minute, where we go, where we at? Alright, right there. So that one right there is closest to the engine block. There's 4 nuts. Now the other one is over here. You can see it right there next to the O2 sensor. The other one is down there. You can see that one there, kind of. And this one's right back there. Let's see. Can you see it? Not really. There it is. Right there. So that's those, which we're going to try to take out now. I do believe they are 16 millimeter nuts. So that's what we're going to go for now. Put a little swivel on there. Another little extension. Alright, so this I'm going to have to try a few different things, more than likely. It'll make me work for it. So, put this flashlight right here. By golly, got it on there. Word. Something about the spray, dude. Oh my god. It does all lubricating. Let's hope that that makes it a little easier to turn. Oh my god, it's hard to turn. this is the hardest part of the process to me personally. Exhaust on the axle is the most annoying part of this whole process. Taking the engine out is easy, dude. This shit is aggravating. One nut. 5 minutes later.
5 minutes later.
I'm probably gonna have to go to the bottom. Not like nothing over there. Wow. Really? How is my socket stuck? Ow. 2 nuts. Let's see if I can get to this other one from the top. Man, it'd be so nice if I can. Alright. Let's give it a try. Yeah, maybe. Was on there. Ah! What the fuck? You little bastard! What the hell? Little bastard stung the shit out of me. Damn. Fuck you, buddy. What the hell, dude? Damn, that little bastard just stung the shit out of me. What the hell is that? Good lord. Wow. That little bastard packs a fucking punch, don't he? Holy shit, dude. Wow, what the fuck was that? A wasp or something just stung the shit out of me, dude. Jeez. Well, good for the blood flow, I guess. Alright, we got that. I thought something was light. Alright, now, I'm gonna get this last bolt in the back. Maybe we can get to it from the top. Maybe I'll get lucky. One more time. Let's... Yeah, but no. Yes. Just might be able to do that. time that I've been stung by some shit in a long fucking time, dude. Like I said, don't miss the feeling. Don't miss that shit at all. Quarter turn at a time. Jeez Louise. Well, that wasn't annoying at all. Alright. Exhaust is loose. That leaves axles and mounts. Now, I'm not going to be able to record the axles part so much because it's kind of hard to do that. I hold the camera for any good spot. But anyway, this is a 24-12 point right here. You'll need to take this out, and then there's three 16 millimeters down here. You take those out, take the control arm, push it down, and once you do that, you can pull out on the hub. So then you can pull this nut out all the way, right, obviously, and then push out the axle. Once you're as you're pulling this out, you're going to push the axle out of the hub, basically. So then you'll push it off to the side, over here, push it off to the side, and then back here, these don't have triple squares holding them on. Some of them have triple squares holding them, bolting them to the transmission, but this one is just a pop in and pop out. So you're going to get in there and find a little groove, get you a little pry bar, get you in a solid spot, and then pow, pop it out. It should come right out. You might lose a little transmission fluid, just keep that in mind, it's normal. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. I'm not gonna record that part just because it's kind of annoying. So I'm gonna do that, and then after I do that, I can connect or put on the engine hoist to here, onto the engine, and start pulling this guy out. So this is what it looks like after you get all the stuff out of there. Got all that stuff there, a bunch of bolts. Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and we'll come right back. Yeah. Okay, quick side note. In case you have the problem I just had. Okay, so basically, this will not come off, okay? That's all right. You don't have to take this off. If you run into that issue, don't get pissed off and be like, shit, what am I gonna do? Very simple solution. take off the outer tie rod, and how you do that is you take off the 19 millimeter nut on the bottom of it, right? And then smack right here, few times maybe, and then it'll come loose. Just pull it out, right? The next thing you do is go under here and take a pry bar or a screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and put it in between the casing and the axle, and just kind of push it in there, and it'll pop out, and pull it out the rest way. Then come out here and then just pull out like this. So now it's separated. It's no longer in the transmission. You do the same thing to the other side. So then that way, you don't have to worry about this thing at all. I didn't even try this side. It'd probably come loose. I don't care. I just hit the other side and it was like that. I was like, whatever, fuck it. I'll do it this way. So all you do is you just kind of pull it out and let it sit there. So it's just kind of freely hanging down there. Everything is loose. So now I'm going to put a strap from here. You want to put one from here. You want to kind of make sure it's diagonal so it'll hold the engine level. That's very important when you go to put this thing back in. You don't want to have it, you know, way up on one side and way down on the other. You're gonna have one hell of a time trying to put this shit in here. So take my advice, put you a little strap here to maybe somewhere back here. Sometimes you can even put it around the high pressure pump. There's plenty of bolts on there holding that thing on there, so that'd be fine. But if you just put it from here to this, then the whole thing will be sitting like this and it won't be straight. So you don't want that to happen. So find you somewhere where you can hook it on one side or the other. There's a little hole over here in this bracket. You can use that one. You can put here and then go over to here, which is probably what I'll end up doing. But yeah, there's a couple of ways you could do it, but I would recommend you putting it from one side of the engine to the other. So the next thing I'll show you is how to disconnect the mounts and pull the bitch out. All right, now we're down to the last home stretch here. I talked about putting this thing on here a couple of different ways. For people that don't have this, you're gonna have to do it the kind of the way that I told you. In my particular situation, I'm able to do this and I can change how it sits with this guy. Very good investment. If you're gonna be doing this a lot, definitely get one of these. Anyway, so I just took the motor mount bracket here, and then I took one of the bolts and put it into the bracket that stays on the engine. So that's gonna go there just fine. So it's supported right now, except over here. Now I have to take off this bracket and it'll be good to go. I have a jack under here right now. You want to put that on there to, you know, so you don't put all that pressure on one bolt, because this is mostly aluminum over here and it will shear off real easy. So keep that in mind. I'm going to go ahead and zip this out now. Just hold on to the camera while I do it, I guess. Shouldn't be too hard. Take that bolt out, that bolt goes over there, and these are 16s holding that on. So we're gonna set you down for a second. Now this is not easy to do with one hand. There we go. Alright, now. One bolt, 2 bolts, 3 bolts, 4. Now I like to take this out because it's just easier to get the engine out, because you can lift it up higher. That bracket is actually really big, as you can see. This thing is freaking massive. So take it out of there and make your life a lot easier. So now I can take off my jack. Alright. Pull this back here. Pull that back there. Now, engine is floating completely now. So it might be hung up on the exhaust slightly. Yep. Hung up on there. Yeah, I got bug spray. It's right here. Yeah, over here by the river ain't no joke, dude. Alright, so now I'm going to take off this AC line, because I forgot to do that. So I'm gonna do that and we'll come right back. I'll take this off. Alright, so took the compressor lines off of there because one of these stays onto the car and you gotta take that off. So the other one over here off to the side. As you can see, it's nice and loosey-goosey in here. Got everything disconnected. Exhaust is disconnected, O2 sensors, shift linkage, heater core hoses, and the whole wiring harness is all over here. You're gonna have to disconnect the whole wiring harness except for this spot right here. This pretty much stays with it. See these plugs right here? And there's another green plug right here. And then it all goes up into this little plastic housing right here. So all those stay there, you just gotta unplug them. That's about the only harness that's going to stay on here. The rest of it has to come off. Not too terribly hard. The hardest thing you'll have to deal with as far as the harness is concerned is back here. There's a couple of sensors back here. There's like a boost actuator control valve and then another, I think, boost pressure sensor or something back there. There's two of them though. They go right back down through here and route right back down in here. So there's the one sensor there. The other one's a little bit further down. Okay, so we got it all nice and loose, and I'm going to show you how I get this out of here. So I've got that off to the side. Let's push this up here. Should be fine. So then I'm going to start pulling it out. Let's set this down. There's gonna be a lot of jerkiness. So I'll set this down here for now. So you can see what I'm doing. Rock it out. Really just kind of twist it. Make sure it's off the exhaust. Okay. Everything is nice and loose. Just gotta take your time when you're doing this, man. You might forget something. Better to take your time than be in a hurry. So, got all this stuff loose here. Make sure we don't break nothing. Okay. Alright, so that's good. Pull it out this way. Now you see how even this is. Now if I want to change it, I just go like this. And that, now it's like, well, a little bit contact now. So, pull it out this way. Cool. Alright. And there you have it. Engine is out. Okay. You may have to swap over a few things, so just look over everything before you put it inside there, because it's always easier to replace parts when it's outside than it is when it's inside. So here's the back plugs. There's the boost actuator control valve right here, and this is for another boost sensor right here. So yeah, and then if you have it out, might as well check your turbo as well, see if there's any play in this rod back here. If there's play in that rod, you got a bad turbo. Check your bearing side on the turbine. That feels nice and smooth, so that's good. Hope this video helped you. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment or reach out to me. Brad's Automotive LLC at gmail.com. Feel free to email me. I'll answer any questions that you have. Also, if you have questions, just leave them down in the comments. I try to get back to people as soon as I can. I'm a busy guy, so just give me a day or two and I'll try to get back to you. But I hope this video helped you. Yeah, you'll have a good one.